For those of people listening to this podcast, is that your ding ding that says we're streaming? All right.
Yep. All right, so we are live for the RCR Podcast number 17. I'm Nick.
I'm Brian. I hope you like this sound that you're hearing, because I'm waxing my skis with quick wax because of reasons.
Well, I mean, last week you had the glove lube, and why not something else this week?
You get to hear the scrape sound going back and forth as I rub the this is the wax you use when you don't have an iron. It's like rubbing a candle on my skis.
Kind of looks candle-esque.
Yeah. Doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah, all right.
It's for those of you who are just listening to this and not watching it, what I'm holding is a tube of what looks like a tube of Speed Stick. It's green and it pushes up and out just like a Speed Stick, but it's just wax that I'm rubbing onto the bottom of my, what kind of skis do I have? K2 Amp 76s. I think that's the model number.
So I'm guessing
Amp 76, yeah.
They got good use this weekend?
Yeah, they got good use, and we were talking extensively about this before we started streaming, that I got schooled by a guy on a dad bod. Nice guy, though. His name was Matt, and he showed me a big hole in my form. I thought I was a really good skier, and I can go down any slope I want. Double black, it's okay. I can go down and not fall. Yeah, there's going down and not fall. There's going fast and not falling. And there's actually having proper form. Turns out, as I learned this weekend, I have a sloppy ski form. I drift, kind of like a car does around corners. It's fun, I'm like Initial D around corners. I slide around corners. I don't really carve, and I have to trust these new parabolic skis more than I am. So when I learned skiing, now here's my excuse. When I learned to ski, I learned on straight skis, not carved skis. So I had a different technique. And now that I have modern skis, and even now modern ones that are a little on the big side here, I need to change my form and undo this bad habit I have of sliding around corners. I have to tilt my skis this way and trust that the thing turns, counterweight with my hips and go around. And this is my challenge for this season. What was the chat saying? Nothing. I'm just talking about cars. Welcome to the RCR Podcast, where I don't talk about cars at all.
Yeah.
So this guy with a dad bod, who was totally cool, skied with me. That's a big thing when I ski. You get on the lift, and it's like getting on a plane. Maybe you'll see these people again. Not just the temperature is cold, but usually people at the ski area tend to be kind of cold. Maybe because ski areas, at least I don't know. I'm not knocking Blue Mountain ski area, but it is one of the bigger ones in PA, and it's my local one. They seems to be filled with rich kids who only want to talk to other rich kids. And take a look at my dumb ass and see that I'm not coming from money, so I'm not worth talking to. Anyway, so dad bod Matt was sorry, Matt. I'm just like, this is the thing that was hurting my ego, because I'm generally fit, and this guy isn't even in a racing tuck, and I can't keep up with him. He's so fast. He's not slowing down when he turns. And I assume, because with my sloppy form, okay, when you make a turn, you naturally slow down. Like, how is this guy not slowing down? He's going down upper sidewinder, and I am having to cut my turn short, or not turn at all. All balls and just I can. There's a phone.
Yeah,
all balls and just tuck and gun, just to keep up with this guy who's making these graceful, sweeping turns. He's going through these turns and he's not slowing down. How's he doing that? So I asked Matt, and he said, well, you go down and I'll watch you. And so he watches me. He's like, okay, well, here's what you're doing. So he shows me the technique. It was like learning again. And I asked him, how long did it take you to learn this way? He said, well, honestly, it took 2 seasons to really get natural at true parallel carving. So that's what it's going to take for me. Now I have, with the quick wax, it has cork on this side that I applied the wax, and now I rub it in to the bottom of the ski.
Yeah. Mr. Regular, what's with the lack of want for friction today? Wait, what?
It's a lack of want of friction today. Isn't like you at all.
Oh,
yeah. As AVE said, what's the difference between pink and purple? Grip.
I think like the weird thing about how technique always compensates for lack of physical fitness.
Yeah.
Because it's true in just about most sports too, of like
Big Country Nelson.
Yeah, Roy Nelson. Of just like dropping bombs on dudes.
He's just a big beer gut, and he wins. He hops up on the on the cage and just.
That dude walked right off the couch. He was in his garage, like
right off the couch into the ring
with like a sixer of fucking what's a popular Southern beer.
I don't know. Shinerbach.
Yeah, and you just kind of drown those, and you got these guys who are like going hard in the gym, and thinking like, well, I gotta watch tapes of Big Country and study his technique. No, he just goes in there, drops bombs, and just leaves, and then goes. And I'm probably doing him a disservice. He probably does a lot of training, but it's still one of those things of where you look at him and you don't think. I remember one of the first MMA fights I ever saw. Or in UFC was a Mark Hunt fight, and I think it was against like Chet Congo or something, who's like a very jacked dude. But Mark Hunt is, I think he's Samoan, and so he's like,
Mark Hunt,
yeah,
he's a Kiwi.
Oh, all right, cool. And he's, Mark Hunt, he's kind of like he's a thick dude, and I just kind of looked at the two and I'm like, well, obviously this Congo guy is going to win because, Mark Hunt, he looks like he's going to gas out inside of a couple seconds. No, not at all. Like, it's just one of those things of Mark Hunt is kind of the master of the walk-off knockout of just like knocks a guy on his ass and doesn't go in for the kill because he knows he's done and he just walks away. But...
Oh, he doesn't do any ground and pound.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy falls on the ground, he's not going to hammer fist.
Yeah. And the ref just like will go and call it. And so with that type of ski thing, you wouldn't think that skiing is something that lends itself to technique over physical fit. Well, actually, no. I don't know. Like, obviously,
you see someone who's cut. They got the Spider jacket on, which is a brand. Yeah. And it's like, wow, it's form fitting. They're awesome. And then they're just doing a gliding wedge, which is what they call snow plows now. Going down the hill. Pizza, French fries. I'm like, oh.
Like, obviously, you're not going to be an Olympian with a dad bod, but there's still a lot that you can sort of, like once you have it, because obviously, like, you probably skied a lot. The same as you, of like when he was younger, and that's something he grew up doing. So it's always kind of, I don't know. I find that kind of thing interesting of just the huge chasm between appearance and what your physicality is actually capable of doing. Because I've spent pretty much like the last 3 days continuously in the gym. Just because, I don't know. Like, I've been going through some stuff, and I decided that the gym was the best way to like deal with it.
Yeah,
and so I'm kind of in that phase now where I am just, and I think this was your line, or maybe it was the Henry Rollins line of like reaching for the comfort of iron.
Oh yeah, that's Henry Rollins. 20 pounds is all. Like, the world can change, people can lie to you, but 20 pounds is always 20 pounds.
Yeah. And it's great. I mean, my gym is the coldest gym on the Eastern Seaboard, but because there's just, it's all glass everywhere, and, it's windows. There's no real insulation, but I'm just kind of, trying to, I don't know, just forget things through the process of like, I'm on a treadmill now. For that moment, I'm focused entirely on the treadmill. I'm pushing the sled now, and now I'm totally focused on the sled. I'm lifting, the fucking weights, and I'm feeling, I'm completely and totally focused on that.
Yeah.
What's funny is that like all of my gym songs are like these super sad songs, not because I feel that way, but because I hit shuffle and that's what comes up.
Oh.
And I'm in the middle of something and I don't want to like pause to stop and put on something that's more like, evolution is a mystery. But yeah, it's I just kind of am. I didn't realize how good the gym is for sort of just taking your mind off shit. Because normally I would just write, like for this, I would write some of my best, like personally for me, my favorite like endings that I've written for this come from like a place of turmoil of, wanting to understand and be understood. Yeah. And feeling that no one else is going to get this, so let me throw something out into the ether with the hopes that like someone's going to get it. And with me, it's kind of it's hard because I don't want to have to feel bad to get something good, and most times I don't have to, but that would always be like the silver lining of like, I'm going to get something really good for RCR out of this. And now for this, it's kind of like, I'm going to get a good workout out of this. Yeah, or you are. I'm going to be on the treadmill, 10 minutes longer than I was the day before. Nice. And then I feel like shit after, which is I liken it to kind of like Listerine, that's how it's working. Yeah. It's just like, oh, I'm in pain. But not the kind of pain where, you can't do anything. It's the kind of pain where it's almost like that good sore of like that sinks into like your muscles and kind of elongates what you're capable of doing. Oh yeah. And I haven't felt that in a really long time, because I used to go to the gym a lot. Like a few years ago, it was a little bit after like my last breakup. And
was that the horse girl?
No, it was she was actually, I was dating her when shortly after I met you, and we would go to a bar in my hometown and hang out together. And this was like when we were first sort of talking about cars and stuff, because I remember there was this guy who was trying to figure out what car was in this one picture, and it was a Camaro, because all we had was like the last like quarter of the car.
When was this?
This was like 7 years ago.
Oh.
This guy had a laptop out right at the bar.
Oh, and he wasn't part of the conversation?
No.
Okay.
And then we were kind of like, we were both kind of, may we look at the car? And you saw the back and immediately like, Camaro. And I don't know why he was trying to figure out this thing. It was a picture from like his cousin's wedding or something.
Oh, okay. And he came up to us, or
no. He was just looking at his thing, and then
I was just being a peeping Tom.
Well, so was I.
Tom?
Like he saw me kind of looking over first, and so yeah. But yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. I don't know. That relationship was a mess, but aren't they all? Why is my nickname the Roman? Because it's my last name. When I originally like started writing for RCR, Brian said, what do you call it? Like, I want to give you credit. And I'm like, are people gonna like search me out on Facebook and like want to add me? It's like, well, probably. I'm like, oh, well, can we not use my real name? It's like, well, what nickname do you want? And I'm like, well, just call me whatever. I don't really care. He's like, is the Roman all right? I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Yep. And so that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm Nick Roman, and I don't know. Like, I like my name a lot, so it's a name. Golden Girls or Saved by the Bell? That's actually like a good question for me, but it's always going to be Golden Girls, especially after this week, because I was kind of like on this big Golden Girls kick I say especially after this week because my sister, that's kind of like me and her, like our thing. And so I had seen her and we were kind of like talking about it, and for whatever reason, like just talking to my sister gets me in the mood to like watch the Golden Girls for some reason. Do I have any more stories about my giant head? Well, what was did I tell the story about like how I had to be like a C-section because my head was too big for the birth canal? Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. And to the people asking, yes, I am working on the next RCR stories, and I hope to have it out in the next like 2 weeks or so.
Before we go to New Zealand.
Well, I was,
that can be one of the Monday.
I wanted it to be like the Monday in February one.
Sounds good.
I'm not really gonna say what it's about, but it's a really well-known story for the automotive community. And instead of being about a car or a company, it's about a person. So it'll probably be pretty obvious to people who guess it. It's been suggested to me by a ton of people. And I really just wanted to do something that wasn't going to take like 5 months to do.
Right.
Because I really want to start having these out way more frequently, but I kind of have this self-consciousness about getting it out correctly. Like the Isle of Man thing took almost 5 months because I kept like rearranging the story. Like the script would be written, like completely done, and then I realized there were things that I had to move around for it to actually make sense. Of, you know, I would tell the story of the people who were involved in the Isle of Man and then not actually mention why it was dangerous until the second to last chapter. And so I just took that chapter and moved it to like the second one so that you're going into the stories understanding why the race is dangerous and why it's so revered and why it becomes this weird, vague tourist attraction. But yeah, I don't know.
For those of you wondering what I'm doing now, I have a microfiber cloth and I'm trying to smooth out or buff the wax. Because it goes on lumpy and then you rub it in with the cork and then you do this forever with a towel. I used to wax with an old iron and buy what looked like a soap bar of wax, and you just melt the wax onto the iron and drip it down onto the ski and then iron it out with the ski, which gives you a mess, and then you have to like scrape the extra stuff off. I'd really like to watch somebody, there's probably a million YouTube videos, how to wax your skis, how to do it properly. Because I've been on skis when they're freshly waxed. It's like they're not even touching the snow. You're so slick. And that's what these were like when they were new. I like got on them. And the sensation was being on a freshly waxed kitchen floor in your socks and doing that that Nordic track. Yeah, like, this is amazing. I'm faster than the world. And I could feel the skis even here's an unwaxed ski. You can feel that, all right, it's pretty darn smooth on the bottom of this.
Ooh,
like, how can that possibly stick to snow? Well, it does. Like, I could feel it pulling back against the snow. I'm like, wow, I really need to friggin' wax these things.
So I guess, would you say overall it was a positive experience with Matt of learning things?
Dad bod Matt. Oh, yeah. Now I'm like, it gave me another goal because I had been plateauing. And I'll tell this to Matt Farah when we see him next. Like, remember how I said I was like trying to give you advice skiing? It was probably podcast stuff. We're on the smoking tire. Like, well, the exact same thing happened to me with a guy who was leagues above my level. Dad bod skiing demon Matt going to China. He told me that he flies. Then we started talking about airlines. He told me he flies United. Oh, I missed a spot here. And that United, I'm not going to give up on American.
Well, no, you got all those points.
Yeah, and they don't want to box you for your seats. Was that United or Delta where they beat that guy up? Whatever.
Yeah, United.
All right.
I want to say.
So he flies United because he flies out of Newark. And they do Newark to LA, and he was telling me that the first class to LA from Newark on Delta gives you the pods, meaning pod like your own seat. There's nobody next to you.
I thought we were talking Tide Pods.
Yeah.
But the
I'm still not gonna fly United.
well, yeah.
I am waiting for the pod experience.
Well, with the airlines, it's kind of like when you're a kid and I think I put this in a video once of you get to make one choice of what your video game system is going to be, so you better pick right.
Yeah.
And so I was already team PlayStation, so it was too late to go back.
Yeah.
We're already team, American Airlines.
We fly out of Philly because that's 2 hours away, and American Airlines has Philly on lockdown. So if you're flying out of Philly, you're flying American.
Yeah.
So far, American hasn't, in the past year, committed any grievous errors or lapses in judgment. Apart from, that's getting smooth. Apart from giving a whole bunch of pilots, like the computer or the system gave too many pilots Christmas break off, and they're like, "Uh-oh, don't have enough pilots. Uh-oh, flight delays."
Yeah, up and down. So, anyway, apparently, and this is just, topic monopoly or potpourri of you're a Lyft driver now.
I'm a Lyft driver now. Because I want social interaction as I reach for my coffee off camera.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which is funny because now I hear that Uber isn't paying their drivers jack because they started with they implemented the tipping system, which allows them to pay their drivers less, hoping that you'll make it up on the back end with tipping.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, Lyft doesn't do that. I've read. I mean, I don't know what the system is.
No one's ever tipped me. I've only given like 5 rides. Really, I should. This is what I should have been doing. I should have been using my fingertips. I'm gonna really get this. I'm gonna be so freaking fast next time I go out. You can tell, like, this is a passion of mine. Skiing, fucking love it. I'm gonna be so. Oh, I'm gonna jerk off on the lift. I'm gonna get my dick hard and cold. The thing is, someone said on Twitter, like, I don't understand skiing. It's cold. It's not. You are not cold. Skiing is a freaking workout. It's like leg day for 6 hours. Because all skiing is doing like squats with no bar. Just like getting up and getting down. It's that motion.
What do your legs look like at the end of that?
Freaking jacked.
Just like
freaking pumped.
Calfzilla.
Calfzilla.
Yeah.
The Cabtaceous period. Ever wanted to visit Prague?
This
That's
is
some
like
like weird. I'm reading the chat.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I've been a Lyft driver for a week. We're out here in West Bumblefuck, so there's no. I will keep my phone on for say like 3 hours. I'll get maybe 1 ping. The good news is there's not a whole lot of Lyft drivers out here, or Uber drivers for that matter. But when you do get a ride, at least this has been my so far. So far, it's been my experience that everybody needs a long ride. The shortest ride I gave was from the Walmart up in Hamburg, just to nearby Port Clinton. A distance you could really walk in a half an hour. It was just some lady who told me that both, I think I mentioned this to you before, both her son and brother were both in high school now.
That's right. And I was trying to do the math of like, because she mentioned her mom had the brother when she was like 40.
Yeah.
So for the daughter's son to be in the same grade or going to the same school.
Yeah.
As,
you could say they're 13 years old or something.
Yeah. Huh. So she would have had to have the... see, this is why, I'm not that... Well, liberal arts major, I'm not going to be good at math anyway.
Yeah.
That stuff is my kryptonite. But yeah. Stop using rub-on wax, for God's sake.
Why? Give me a goddamn good reason why I shouldn't be using rub-on wax.
Well, I mean, what's the alternative? Like,
The alternative is getting an iron. The alternative, or, you know, with money, as I make the money rubbing my fingers together, is taking this to Buckman's and having them do it for me. And then I get to wait, because there's usually only one guy and he doesn't really work all the time. I don't want... See, these skis are new. These are the first nice skis I've had in maybe 10 years. And if I do it with an iron, hot wax, and try to do it myself, I worry that I'm going to mess the ski up. Like I'm going to melt something.
Yeah.
Alec Hall says it'll only last a couple trips. By trips, do you mean days, or trips do you mean runs?
I feel like he might have said something preceding this that he may or may not be talking about the skis, but I don't know. I haven't been paying as much attention to the chat as I should have.
Like if rub-on wax only lasts one day, I'm fine with that. This was $12.
Yeah.
And this is the second year of this thing. Rub-on wax sucks ass. Try the slick paste instead. You can afford the ion stuff if it works well. All right, why does rub-on wax suck ass? And why is slick paste better?
Well, the burden of proof is on them to prove why rub-on wax sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you could pull up like some kind of article about, well, the ski will break in half because, you know, it's just, and there are toxins in it that give you like butt rot or something. I don't know.
It turns the frogs gay.
There was someone in there who wanted to know what my favorite wrestlers from like the 90s were, and it's literally like Bret Hart. I loved Hitman, even though, you know, he's so far up his own ass. He's, you know,
today.
Well, he's very protective of his legacy, and he's very
He had a tag team guy who was like the same guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, he started out in Stampede Wrestling, which is his father's company in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and then came to the WWF as part of the Hart Foundation with Jimmy Anvil Neidhart, and he sort of like transitioned from tag team to becoming a singles guy. And for me, there was always something, I don't know if it's because, you know, like my dad died when I was really young, but I would always kind of look for these weird father figures in different places. Like, weirdly enough, Robert Stack made me feel like comfortable, you know, like that weird fatherly type, like when you're getting those like father figures off of TV and shit. And Hugh Downs of all people, because 2020, but which is not to say I didn't have a father figure in my life, and my dad's best friend who was gay like helped raise me, which probably explains a lot about like why I'm into so many weird things now. Well, not weird, but you know, like I love...
That was in one of your songs.
Yeah, and that was before like I kind of revealed anything about myself, really. I would just sneak stuff into the songs, but but yeah, Bret Hart was another big one because he was just like the all father, you know, in a weird way, kind of like what Tom Hanks is now, just like that good guy that you can trust in. Now, of course, you read his autobiography and you realize that Bret Hart is a way more complex person than I ever knew about. And that's what I find kind of fascinating about it. But, you know, that's just one of the things that I like. And I know I end up weirdly talking about wrestling, you know.
One of the guys says he grew up in Calgary. My dad grew up and used to party with the Hart brothers. One of them was actually a substitute teacher that I had once. Well,
which Hart brother? Because there were a million. Bret Hart came from, he had 11 brothers and sisters.
Oh, wow.
And Owen was the youngest one. The death of Owen Hart was the first time that like a celebrity death ever affected me. I was watching the pay-per-view with my younger brother.
I'm sorry that this is so loud. It's going to be becoming a running theme with RCR. I'm always doing something audible. Yeah. While we're talking.
Any updates on the upcoming album? The album's already out. It's been out since May.
Yeah, wherever you...
My problem is that like I didn't really post about it as much because, I mean, I should really do like a music video to promote it, but... or something along those lines. It's called Tracklist Bro, a regular car reviews album, and it's on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Google Play. Yeah, you can do all that stuff. But yeah, The death of Owen Hart was
sorry for the audio peak that's about to happen.
Happened.
That was my edge. I was trying to fold down the arms, the ski brakes. These are the things that pop out when you fall.
Oh,
that your boot pops out of the ski, so the ski doesn't twist around and twist your ankle. And then these things, sorry for the audio peak, snap out, and these are ski brakes. The ski will stop from sliding down the hill. When you put your boot in, these things retract.
yeah.
When did these things were like late 70s or something when people actually started using ski brakes? Because before that, like my dad has an old pair of skis that doesn't have ski brakes on them. Instead, there was like just little bits of leather that would wrap around your ankle. I mean, your boot would pop out of the ski, but now you got these two things with sharp edges on them, kind of flailing around and still attached to you. And then before that, there was nothing. Skis just stayed attached to you, and you could twist your ankle off. And that was really before hardened ski boots. We're talking about downhill skiing, not cross country.
Yeah. And we're how many weeks away from the Winter Olympics? So there's going to be skiing all over the place.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're going to be in New Zealand anyway when that happens.
Where is it? Where's the Winter Olympics?
I don't know. That's a good question. I want to say Russia, maybe. I don't know. Or wait, no, it can't be Russia. I think someone in the chat will know the Winter Olympics.
I like Winter Olympics because there's less roids. Roids. Summer Olympics is all roids. Winter Olympics is just like, what's the big Winter Olympic event?
Snowboarding, figure skating,
skating.
The what do you call it? NASCAR on 2 feet. The races.
Oh, the speed skating.
And then there's
curling, and then they'll play the hockey game. Yeah, the hockey game. That's the big one.
Oh yeah, hockey.
Yeah, which is usually going to be Canada versus the Canada versus the USA one when Sydney with Crosby was on it. That was a good game.
Yeah,
I forget how many years ago that was.
Dieter says Winter Olympics are better because more of the sports are fast sports. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that with the Summer Olympics, you're kind of stuck in this weird spot where you're waiting all day for the races to happen.
You're waiting all day for Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Now
just freaking clean a house.
Yeah. Got to get through skeet shooting and archery.
This bullshit no one cares about.
The shot put.
Like, what are the... and Winter Olympics has the freaking luge.
Oh, the luge!
Everything is a race. And everything... I don't care. This is fun to watch.
Yeah.
There's a bit of NASCAR stuff going on. And everything has crashes.
It's like the...
skiing one. That's the thing. When those guys wreck. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. I saw I actually saw...
and the ski jump. Of all the dumbest things you could do. Like, this is what humans do. I know this is an Adam Carolla line, but this is what you do when you have no problems left.
Yeah.
Whee! How far can you go?
It's just one of those things of just trying to make sort of everything into an Olympic sport. All right, what are we going to do next? What absurd thing is going to be an Olympic sport next? You know, is Smash Brothers going to be an Olympic sport? Is
e-athletes, e-sports.
Yeah.
Okay, I can kind of guess where the guy's coming on with Rub on Wax, because I've been going at this since we started for 30 minutes, and I'm not done with ski number 1 yet. So maybe Iron on Skis is a little bit faster than this. Or maybe I'm just going hog wild and I want to make this shit nice.
Yeah.
I'm holding it in the light so I can see all the high spots, all the smudges.
Yeah.
So Lyft driving.
Yes.
Sorry that I'm naming names and sorry for the people that I'm picking up, but I'm going to talk about you. Very first one was the lady who had the son and brother in high school. Next guy was a young man, Kutztown student. I picked him up from a hotel, and he had to go almost to Topton, way behind Kutztown. It was a long drive. We're going to be in the car together for at least 38 minutes.
Yeah.
So he was a young man from Kutztown. We started talking about Kutztown. One thing led to another, and I just asked, well, his major was not sports administration or sports management, like sports management or something. So I'm like, oh, you spend a lot of time in Risley Hall. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. So were you doing some work in Hamburg that you were staying at the Microtel? And he said, well, no, it's a weird story. Turns out he was, and I know you told the story. You don't have to pretend to hear it fresh and new. But he was seeing a girl that his parents told him not to.
Oh.
I told you this bit?
No.
Oh.
You didn't tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, so... And... So they were staying at a hotel for the weekend. I'm like, oh. I mean, I knew some guys in high school who could scrape together $85 to have a hotel for the night.
Yeah.
You know, put a hurting on that mattress. So, whatever. Next one was a long ride from Pottsville to Inner City Bus Station in Reading.
Huh.
Guy was just getting a Bieber bus to Port Authority. And he must have said 8 words, and that was, we were in the car for an hour.
Can't you get a bus from Pottsville to Reading?
You can.
And it would theoretically be cheaper to just get the bus
from Pottsville to Reading.
And then
there is a bus
station.
station. You took it.
Yeah.
How many times did they run that bus a day?
At least 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Now
I'm wondering if this was a weekend.
I mean, it would have had to have been like
it was a weekend. It was a weekend.
Day. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he asked, how long is this going to take? And I'm like, well, it's going to take about an hour. And, this is the past few days where it's just sloppy and messy out on the roads.
Ugh.
Which I'm surprised that your SN95 for being, what year is it again?
2004.
It has traction control.
Yeah.
In the back. Like, wow, a base model has traction control.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that it made it as far as it has, because I visited a friend in Richmond about a month ago, and I didn't have any problems, and there was some light, like on my way down, light wintry mix. And normally I would kind of have a weird anxiety about it, but this time it wasn't really that big of a deal, because I felt like, okay, my car can do this. It's
a rear-wheel drive car and it's snowy outside.
Yeah, and I had it checked up relatively recently because, my check engine light kept coming on, and I didn't have an OBD2 reader because I'm not smart. So because I remember one time on a shoot, I had a check engine light come on, and you whipped out the old reader and kind of did the thing. But
I don't remember what it was. It was probably, I'm guessing it was.
We looked up the code. It was like a misfired cylinder. I want to say, or something.
So that's either like, sometimes there are even false codes, and I think, well, we just turn off the light, and if it does it again, just recall what was going on, and then turn it off again, and then if it's an ongoing misfire, simple things would be either spark plug or mass airflow sensor, which you just clean with a can. That's what was wrong with my mom's Mercedes. It was kept throwing a misfire code like all misfires. Turns out the mass airflow sensor was just dirty.
Oh, there was someone earlier who just wanted me to finish the story about the Owen Hart. Really, it's not much of a story. It's just that, like, I remember watching the pay-per-view where he passed away, Over the Edge in 1999, with my younger brother, and I was 14 at the time. No, I was still 13 because I didn't turn 14 till that July. But literally, when they were going to announce that he had passed, like, I knew exactly what Jim Ross was about to say before he said it, and I just had to leave the room. And so that was kind of that realization of the first time that, because I feel like everybody, no matter how disconnected they want to say they are from the media, you always have that one celebrity whose death really messes you up. And at some point, you try not to be someone who's too invested in media and too invested in, the lives of people who you're never going to meet. But it's just that, like, Owen Hart seemed like such a good guy. And same with, like, Eddie Guerrero, and, same with Chris Benoit until you find out what he did. Actually, no. All the stories that I read about Chris Benoit is that he was kind of, hardcore, of just kind of being a locker room leader type who would kind of, make guys as punishment do squats until they were pissing muscle fibers.
Ew.
But yeah, it's bad times. But you know, it's just kind of I don't know. It is what it is. I try not to get too invested in certain people because I guess, you know, I don't know. The celebrities, you're never going to meet them, but it's hard not to feel connected to them anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who I felt sad about. I don't know if I felt sad when any of them passed. Levon Helm, from the drummer singer from the band called The Band.
Oh yeah,
That was kind of like, oh man, he sang Up on Cripple Creek, which is an amazing song. And I kind of felt sorry when I found out that Dan Aykroyd was kind of a nutball.
Oh, with the Skullhead vodka.
And like legitimately chasing ghosts. Reel it in a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's... Oh, the rapper Pumpkinhead, who... he was someone whose death I was kind of upset about. He was a battle rapper, a Puerto Rican battle rapper. Mm-hmm. And... Because I'm obsessed with, like, battle rap, in a way, of not wanting to do it, but, like, I just love watching it. I love watching guys like Arsenal and, you know, Pat Stay, which I guess is, like, you're not supposed to like Pat Stay, but whatever, I do. Because it's just one of those things where it's such an intimate form. Now, the reason I can never do it is because you're not doing freestyling, you're doing writtens, where you realize who your opponent is, and then you... or you know, you get your opponent and then you spend however much time like writing 3 rounds worth of material about them. Mm-hmm. And Arsenal is, and he recently retired from battle rap, but basically he's considered like Mr. Disrespectful. He has some of the most disrespectful lines that you will ever hear in rap, period, much less battle rap. And his whole thing is that no matter how long you've been in the rap game, he will find something about you to use against you. Yeah. So that's why I could never do it. Of just like, this is a man who will, you know, just he really knows how to dig the knife in, but I just love listening to him. And yeah. Someone down there says Robin Williams still hits hard, and that does. I do miss Robin Williams.
Can I use some of these napkins?
Oh yeah, sure.
Found a little bit of rust. Just a little bit of rust.
You know who I actually really miss? Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
That really upset me. Like when that happened. Because I keep thinking by now he would have an Oscar because he would have done something that people weren't expecting him to do.
He could have been another Bryan Cranston.
Yes. And the thing is, he could have gone the Bryan Cranston route, or he could have gone, you know, the Will Ferrell route of, you know, being in the you know, in those old school type of comedies. Mm-hmm. Not like old school, but the movie old school. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I miss that dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris Cornell, Paul Walker.
Yeah. Oh, Chris Farley.
Yeah, Bernie Mac, John Ritter. Like, there are a lot of people who... John Candy. John Candy was such a good dude. And there's just something about, you know, his...
Heart attack?
I want to say, yeah. Oh. I mean, it goes back to the old saying of, you know, there are no fat old men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he alive?
Oh, Wilford Brimley?
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know. Weirdly enough, my mom asked me the other day, because I went over to my grandma's and they were watching the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Is Sally Field still alive?" I'm like, "Yeah, Ma, you would have heard about Sally Field dying, presumably." But yeah, it was just such a random out of left field thing because my mom likes Sally Field. But that and because my mom kind of looks like Sally Field in a weird way. But I don't know. It's just kind of a weird thing.
Yeah. Someone says, "Oh, you just reminded me about John Candy." Yeah.
Yeah, he's so great.
The guy who Lyft driver, segue all the way back to me giving lifts, was guy giving a ride to the bus station in Reading. And I thought, like, once I dropped him off, he said 8 words the whole ride. I turned on music just to something. I tried to make conversation. He didn't say 3 words. Awkward. And then I am there at the bus station. I'm thinking I could just drive home.
Yeah.
Or I could keep this thing on.
Whoa, sorry. I did not know it would be running.
I kept the Lyft app running, and I'm now downtown Reading.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I want to accept rides down here? Because Reading can be kind of dicey. It's in the middle of the day.
Yeah, it could.
I don't think I'm ever gonna turn on that app in Reading at night.
Oh God, no! I wouldn't.
Even in West Reading, because the thing could ping, and West Reading and Reading, totally 2 different worlds, but they're only 5 minutes apart.
Mm-hmm.
And
like it could be someone from West Reading asking you to take them into Reading.
Yeah.
At night, it's just I don't know.
You don't know where in Reading.
Yeah, and I love my hometown. I do, but I'm under no pretensions that it's actually this great place. And because obviously I grew up there, so you have a certain sense of nostalgia about the place that you're from. But I mean, I wouldn't want to, be there in a kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be there at like 6:30, much less 9:30 or 11:30 or anything like that.
Yeah, this was 1 in the afternoon, 1:30. I'm at the inner city bus station, and my thing goes ting again. And you have 15 seconds to decide whether you want to or not, and it doesn't quite say where you're going.
Yeah.
I think you get a general idea, or how far the person is away from you. Person's 1.3 miles away, and I'm like, that could be in any direction from downtown Reading. Now, it turns out to be a nice story. It was just a girl going to work at Redner's Warehouse Markets over in Wyomissing. Great, good. But when you're going up some of these streets, I'm like, these cars are turning into shit really fast, and the roads are getting narrower, and the music's getting louder, and I don't know who's about to get in my car. So, I mean, and then there's stories about nasty Lyft rides.
Yeah.
And growing up here in the country, Reading was always this warning tale. Like, oh, don't go down into Reading. And I know places like Mumelsdorf or West Lawn or Sinking Spring.
Yeah.
If you know you're there, that's an okay part of town.
Yeah.
But they're all so close to each other. And Lyft kind of, it's like you can't have like a 50% acceptance rate. You're supposed to have a 90% acceptance rate. But I don't know what I'm in for and with some of these rides, and I'm just doing this for the social interaction of it. I mean, certainly it's very different during the day, but I think if I get a Reading run, I'm going to just go Reading and then click offline and then just drive back here and not turn it on again until I'm well on the 61 away from there.
Yeah, there was this one he was like this older white dude one time when I was coming out of an open mic there, and I was walking to my car and he was coming out of the 24-hour adult outlet in Reading. And he was very aggressive about kind of like asking for money. And it was just one of those things where like you kind of have to keep putting some people off. I mean, it's funny because, I'll give someone money. I'm kind of a sucker like that, I guess. Like, what's $1? But it was just kind of very strange area just because I'm not like Reading doesn't really scare me. I mean, I go to events at night, but it's one of those things of like I don't want to sort of put myself in a position where things are going to be awkward. I guess it's more about avoiding awkwardness than avoiding danger.
Right.
Because there's always going to be some, guy there who's going to be asking for something. But yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. I apologize if this sounds like a racist conversation. It's just, I know my hometown. I know that there's a lot of violent crime in there. I know that there are way, way, way more good people than bad in my hometown. And without question.
I've never had a dicey or weird time in Reading. I mean, there was this one guy who we met one cold day while we were waiting for the MR2 shoot. I don't think you were there yet. I was there with the volunteer. This was the SW21.
Oh, yeah.
And he was asking, like, how do I get to this one place? And we both knew that this guy was, I think he was starting his pitch for money. Like, I need money for the bus.
Yeah.
And the thing is, when I get hit up for money, if I can peace out, I do. And I may cut right to the chase and just say, please don't hurt me. And I walk as fast as I can, or even run. That's really insensitive. But the awkward times are when it happens at the gas pump.
Yeah.
And usually my answer is simply no.
Yeah. Well,
and then I just say nothing and maybe just like look them straight in the eye. Like, hey, you want to fight? We can throw down right here. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, I'm not budging.
You're like squaring up.
Like I'm squaring up. I'm like, look, I am not worth it.
Yeah.
Believe me.
But any other weird Lyft people? Because
the girl I took to work at Redner's, she just put in her headphones like she does this every day. But then I started wondering about her, like, are you taking a Lyft every day to work? That was an $8 ride. That's what I got out of the ride. That was my payment. So it was probably for her like $14 or something like that. And I'm like, that's almost 2 shifts. Or depending what, say she makes $10 an hour at Redner's. That's a shift and a little bit more just to get there. Yeah. And is she taking a Lyft home? Or maybe she has like a coworker or a boyfriend or girlfriend or they friend who would just pick them up.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just one thing.
I mean, maybe she can carpool on the way home, but just not in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a strange thing, but
because I'm always, the whole writing thing is I want to get to the bottom, like, who are you and what is this story and where are you going? I'm interested in so far the 5 people who have gotten in my car. Oh yeah, the last Lyft that I ride was the same guy and his girlfriend who were having the tryst away from their parents as I took them from Hamburg. Like nowhere near their hotel. I think they were by Hecky's Subs in Hamburg, just like the sub shop. And the guy says, "Where is your Lyft area?" My area is Hamburg, Pennsylvania. But then you'd have to be there, right, when my app is on.
Yeah, which it's not always.
Which is not. On. No, it's on if I'm given a ride. Anyway, they were continuing their tryst, and they were both. Well, the guy told me he was 20, so it's that weird. You got a girlfriend. You're trying to look for stuff to do, but you can't drink yet. So half the city, 80% of the city, is off limits to you unless you're going to a party. So they were going to the Works in Reading, and the Works is like kind of like a family fun center.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they do have booze there, but it's because there's a restaurant there too.
Mm-hmm. We ate there once after a shoot, right?
Yeah. And there's go-karts, there's trampolines, there's sort of.
How is that trampoline place?
It's nice. You pay by time, and so I'll have a half hour, I'll have an hour, whatever, and then you kind of just wear yourself out. That's what I do.
Your nephew like it?
Oh yeah, he loves it, and I just take him there because, it's funny because like I have to do stuff too. Like if he's gonna get an hour, I have to get an hour too.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't. There's not always going to be kids there for him to play with, and it's whatever. But I kind of get, I don't know, I get like a really good sweat going there.
Yeah.
Like I come out, I'm friggin' drenched, and then he wants to do go-karts because has like the kind of membership thing, so he'll have like X number of free rides on his account. And he'll need someone to do that with him too if there's no one else there. So I gotta cram myself into like the kid size go kart, and I look like Bowser. Yeah, of doing just like yeah. And
one guy said, "That's a very good dad joke." No classic. How was that trampoline place?
Jumping. Oh.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh.
My buddy Tom, he has 2 daughters and a son. I should tell him the next time they come up. Like, once the kids are old enough to go to the trampoline place, he could make his dad jokes. He had a picture that he posted on Facebook. Facebook is, at least for me, is quickly becoming the parent website.
Yeah.
While Twitter remains the single guy website.
Yeah.
Or, shit posting website.
No, I do a lot of my single guy shit posting on Twitter now. Reviewing Netflix shit.
Because I guess on Facebook, all your parents are on Facebook, so you gotta be nice. Anyway, he posted a picture on Facebook of, it's like, why is my daughter crying now? And it's a picture of his daughter lying on the floor. And the text was, she's not allowed to eat the road salt by the front door.
Yeah. I started... as
Gus Fring said, yeah, I'm still waxing.
Yeah.
I'll be waxing till perfection. I may go out tomorrow. It may rain. Skiing in the rain sucks.
Sounds
it's no
like
fun at all.
Why? Because it just gets slushy and
yeah.
nasty.
The skiing is slow, and then you're colder if it's like 40 degrees and raining. You are colder than it would be if it's 20 degrees and cloudy. It's wet, just soaks you, and then you have to, because half of skiing is sitting on the chairlift. And now you're sitting on a wet park bench for half the time. Maybe not half the time.
Yeah.
Also, lifts. Being on a ski lift is like being in international waters. A lot of drinking. Like, people in their flasks come out. You got 5 minutes of nothing. And maybe 10 minutes if it's 10 minutes a long chairlift ride. The weed vapes come out, or sometimes full bowls or blunts come out on the ski lift. You're 30, 40, 50 feet in the air. There's no one around. And you're just sort of assume that up here, anything goes.
Yeah.
As long as you put away all your stuff before you reach to the top. Lift guys don't care. And I used to work at Bear Creek Ski Area. We didn't care. That was back before they had those nice gates. Now most ski lifts operate like Dave & Buster's in that you buy a card and you just load that up with credits for a day. It's not every single run, but it's like, I want 7 hours. Or I go on the website, it's like, I would like 7 or an 8-hour pass. And now it just attaches to my account. The card stays in my jacket permanently. I just show up. I don't wait in line. I just snap on my skis, go down. And then you go up to a ski lift, and there are these little electronic like subway gates, and you sort of have to press your body to one side. And my ski's hitting the wall. Yeah. And then it goes beep, and then it opens, and there's a little screen that says, your time will end. Like yesterday, 7:01 p.m., your time is up. And so, yeah, you're just paying by the hour. And usually night skiing is way, way cheaper. So that's like $30 for like 4 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Damn.
Night skiing is so much faster, too, because it's all ice.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying to me. I mean, I'm kind of... I mean, I got the dad bod thing, but I don't have any of the technique. It just kind of sounds like I would Sonny Bono myself pretty hard. Sorry if it's too soon for that joke. But, well, not really joke, just,
See, the thing about skiing is it's like motorcycle. Well, no, it's safer than motorcycle riding. Like, you're only as dangerous as you are dumb.
That's a good
so
line.
if you ski... Yeah. So if you ski beyond your limits... So in that respect, I am a little bit dangerous because those jumps... on the terrain park are always calling me a wuss. Like, go frickin' off this. Screw your loose patella on your right knee. Take it. Do it. Impress these teenagers. You're still trying. Like, who would have thought, like, in my mid-30s, I'm still trying to impress the cool kids.
Yeah.
Damn it. Ski hits the ceiling.
This person asks, how do you get into skiing if you've never done it before?
Take a lesson. Go to a ski area. Find someone like me. I used to be a ski instructor at Bear Creek. Someone like me could easily teach you skiing. We're not cheap. No, like an actual ski school at any sort of mountain. Say you're a beginner. All beginner lessons are the same. I'm going to teach you how to turn. I'm going to teach you how to balance. The one thing about skiing is it takes almost an entire season to get not bad at it, to like get not terrible. Some people who are have natural balance or who do other sports that have skill sets that cross over. Ice skating is the big one. If you can do any sport that requires balance, you'll be fine. Yeah. I can teach you it. If you're working on nothing and you really don't have any desire to learn, then it's tough.
Or if you're just doing it to like impress a girl or something, or impress the cool kids.
Yeah.
It's like you have to actually want to do it.
Yeah. So I thought about teaching Nick, but if you don't want to do it, you're not going to learn. Yeah. So that's the thing. And I have to come to terms that some of the things that I like are not shared by a lot of people.
I think a lot of people like skiing. I'm just, I'm kind of, I just know how going downhill at speed would go for me. Mm-hmm. I kind of know my own weird limitations, and I don't know. It is what it is.
I didn't go off. I went off the little jump on the little terrain park on the old part of Blue Mountain. I went through the big terrain park, but their jumps were so big by East Coast standards that I have this thing where I hurt myself every year the first day I go out. Last year with these skis, I wiped out on Main Street. Big yard sale. And I remember as I went down, my first thought wasn't, oh, I hope I'm going to be okay. Oh, I hope this isn't another concussion. It was, oh man, these goggles are new. Like, I'm going to scratch these freaking $80 goggles. Yeah. Sorry to hit the mic. Off topic, but interesting. How many times have you read Infinite Jest? Big old goose egg. Never read it.
Yeah, I've never read it, but I really... Were you in the class where we had to read Broom of the System?
No.
By
Walt Whitman?
No, David Foster Wallace, who did Infinite Jest.
He was like really weird with women. Like he had a big problem. Like he was a combination... This is from a Cracked article, and this upset me a little bit, but I kind of could later understood it. Like he was a college professor too, right? David Foster Wallace.
I want to say yes, but I'm not entirely sure.
Or am I thinking of somebody else? Who wrote it? It was David Foster Wallace.
Yeah, he wrote Infinite Jest. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like full on 90s guy with the tiny glasses like I have, the other one, and the long hair.
Yeah.
But he was kind of a milady.
Oh.
But also he was a milady, he was a nice guy trademark. But also expected sex, which is the whole nice guy thing.
That's the whole nice guy thing.
Like, oh, I respect women, therefore I deserve sex. And there were stories like he would try, like, and if he wasn't given sex, he'd sort of try to force it on women or make him feel guilty. Oh, like I did all this for you, and now you're not. I thought this relationship was real, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
Well, Broom of the System, and some of the weird, messed up attitudes about women are in there, in the sense that there is a guy named Rick Vigorous, or it's something
Rick
like
Vigorous,
or something like along those lines.
I should name my dick that.
Yeah, he gets so attached to like the main female in the story that he starts telling her these weird stories, and he tells a story about a guy who is in love with this woman who's addicted to sex, and that guy ends up getting into a coma, and the woman like can't hold out any longer, and then it ends up like banging the therapist, and the therapist starts rubbing it in the guy's face by like tapping out in Morse code that he's banging his girl on his comatose like face. And it's just like a really messed up story. And I just don't know. That was a really messed up thing. And I don't know. It was a well-written book, but it was kind of weirdly plotless. And I imagine that's kind of, it was a microcosm of Infinite Jest in a way, because I hear that Infinite Jest is even larger and more plotless. I don't know. It's just strange, but yeah, it got me into sort of reading other weird sorts of literature of oh god, what's the name of the book? US, I think it's called, for Upton Sinclair, and I don't remember the name of the author, but it was a good book too. But yeah, I don't know, it is what it is.
One guy says it moved by already, but said, Nick, talk about State College spots more. I guess the hangout spots.
Well, I spent a lot of time at Sharky's.
It's still there?
Still there, as far as I know.
We went there.
Yeah, getting dollar lion's heads and trying to solve the riddles underneath the cap, the visual riddles. And I had the high score on Galaga for a time because I realized, like, a lot of the time when you're nursing like a broken heart, you go to Sharky's, because that was like the last time, you know, one of the last times that I had my heart properly broken. So I go to Sharky's, I get my dollar lion's heads, I go and play Galaga. I don't flirt with anyone because it's like you get your self-esteem rocked. And suddenly, and you know, like, I still have those issues. I feel like I'm always going to have them. I'm always going to feel like there are ulterior motives for, you know, why people would be into me. Back then, it was kind of like, you know, they wanted my help with something, like with writing related things. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I've always had these weird issues of not really believing that anyone could really be into me for whatever reason.
I know
and
how you feel.
Yeah, it's just hard. And I always feel like it's always going to be hard, but I have to believe that at some point someone could want me for me and not have any other weird ulterior motive behind it, and want, like, just me.
Right.
So anyway, I got off topic, but basically I went and played shitloads of Galaga. Yeah. To the point where, like, I was like the top 3 names. It was like I was on that George Costanza kick of just like with the Frogger machine, but it was Galaga instead. And what I loved about Sharky's more than anything, and I know this is going to be weirdly sacrilegious to some people, especially because I play music and do a lot of open mics. What I loved about Sharky's is that there were no bands ever, so there was never any cover. They kind of they had terrible food. They kind of had, but you don't go to Sharky's to eat. It's like if you end up eating at Sharky's, it's because you're already shit-faced, so you don't mind like microwave pizza. Yeah. You don't mind microwave taquitos or whatever. And so you go and yes, there will be really loud music, but there's pool. So you see people playing pool, you lay a quarter on the table to know that, like, I got winner. Yeah. And and I would either get, you know, the dollar lion's heads because I was a broke college student, or if I had like a little bit of money, I would get some nice scotch for sipping. Yeah. And just get house scotch.
House scotch.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, hey, you know, what kind of scotch are you gonna have? I'm like, you know, just whatever, you know, just the cheap shit. I'm not, you know, Jack McCoy over here, but
yeah,
and then other spots, you know, there were places like First, which is one of the most claustrophobic bars I've ever been in. Yeah. Like, they have a pool table and they have no business having a pool table because there's no room to actually play pool.
They have a pool table.
Yeah. The First, PHRYST. And I don't even know if it's still there or not. Someone in the comments, maybe they will. Yeah, it was just also, I'm trying to think of like other weird state college haunts because, like, I didn't go, well, I went out a lot, but I didn't have to because I lived in a frat house. Yeah. Like, and I wasn't a member of the frat, but there was always like booze around there, and they really didn't care if you drank some of it. Like, even though I wasn't properly a member, I was just a boarder. Yeah. Because basically the frat that I lived in, I could pay $200 a semester social fee to be able to attend the parties that, like the mixers that they had, without having to be a member, and to go through Rush and all that other stuff of, you know, doing the whole circle jerk of everybody has one finger in the other guy's asshole, and you have this whole circuit. This is what I've heard of, like, what the Rush week and what the hazing things are. I don't know.
Ew.
Yeah, it's weird. But I mean, for the most part, I don't really think basically the parties would always, it was a 3-story house, 4 if you count the penthouse, whatever, but for those mixers, unless I paid the social fee, I couldn't go downstairs to those. But the thing is, they would always spill up top, and if they spilled up into the upper floors, it's fair game. Yeah. So, you know, there were people passing bottles around and everything, and, you know, you get pretty, you know, blasted, and you meet some cool people, and yeah, it's just yeah, I don't know.
How did you concentrate with that much partying around?
By trying really hard not to be around it.
Okay.
Like this was around the time Final Fantasy 12 came out, so I would get, again, broke college student, so I get, you know, 1 or 2 bottles of M-Dog 20, or
you had Mad Dog?
Yeah, I'm just Mad Dog, and then, you know, I sat in my room and played Final Fantasy 12. I had like the Mad Dog and a box of Nilla wafers, and wow. You know, it was just kind of weird. I was surprised I ever got any work done, just because of the principle of it, of trying to get everything, you know. Yeah.
Well, I had my affair with Old English 800, the OE, post college when I lived in Lansdale, going out for Taco Bell and 40s. Scott Walton said, "When you coming to New Zealand?" 3 weeks.
Yep.
We still have to find our locations. We have the general area for the Auckland shoot.
And Auckland is the meet too.
Yeah, I think there's going to be 2 meets, but they're both going to be at already established car shows. So, hey, RCR, the Caravan, the most utilitarian civilian vehicle ever made. Yeah, I'd say so. That's pretty good. What are your thoughts on a lifted Jeep Cherokee XJs? How about lifted Jeeps in general? Pour one out for your CV axles. You visit Australia too, not for the New Zealand trip. Just New Zealand. Australia would have to be a different thing.
Yeah, because we're spending so much between LA and New Zealand that, you know, it'd be like an entire month of
being on the road.
Yeah, that we're not doing anything, and suddenly it's kind of like, you know, we would be sacrificing an entire month's revenue, which we already kind of are, but it's still.
January is, I've noticed after doing YouTube, this is now year 4. Of living. Wow, it's been 4 years. RCR has been going as a business for 4 years now.
Madness.
Well, this is going to be senior year. That means somebody started watching RCR in freshman year, and now they're a senior.
Yeah.
See, I start to wonder, like, 4 years isn't it? Well, it's been only 4 years, but for someone, that's their entire high school career, and for me, 4 years of high school felt like a decade.
Yeah.
Those 4 years.
Those 4 years of just, you know, just tedium and
just algebra all the time, math.
Yeah.
If you don't do math, Dad won't love you. He says he loves you, but you know better. Haha, kind of specific.
Any chance you guys...
Holy fuck, that's me. That's you, what? Yeah. I found RCR in first year of college, but it's been more than 4 years. Yeah, join the club sport.
Yeah.
Try and then wait till you go to grad school.
Yeah. You
should really have a plan, though. Guy in the neighborhood is a mid-60s Plymouth Barracuda. That rear glass is such a sight. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
First gen Neon under 3,000. Worth it. I don't know. Suss out the driver. If he's shady, don't buy it.
Yeah.
See, when it comes to, like, I need a car for $3,000, it's no longer about the car. Like, any car could be a good car for $3,000. Any car could be a nightmare for $3,000. It's all about how well this car was maintained. And I know we should be able to trust each other. Right, we should be able to trust each other. But if you don't know, if you can't tell by looking at the car whether it's good or not, whether listening to it is good or not, bring along a mechanic friend or pay a guy like Bruce Henn. Most of the garages have a pre-inspection thing where you pay them $30, they put it up on the lift, they look over the entire car for half an hour. It's really, you're paying for half an hour of the mechanic's time just to have a look at this car. Yeah. You don't get that $30 back. Like if you really want this car and gosh, take it to a freaking mechanic and have him look at it. And then if you say, I like this car, can we take it to a mechanic for a pre-purchase inspection? And if the seller gets weird, walk.
There's your answer.
There's your answer. Oh, don't you trust me? I trust my mechanic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And usually the mechanic is going to find something. Now, if it's something like, I think, well, I'm not, and if he doesn't budge on the price, like if the mechanic says, oh, it needs an oil pan gasket. Ooh, that's $12. Zip, 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 zip. And you get an oil change as part of it. That will cost you $48 for a new oil pan gasket. That's nothing. But if it's something serious, like head gasket, that's your chance to walk away.
Yeah. So
I'm almost done. So wow, like with these skis, meaning this podcast is almost done.
Yeah.
I can almost see. I'm getting out all the little lumps in here. These things are going to be rockets.
What?
When I got super high, when I asked Matt Farah for an edible in Mammoth, I think I spent an hour waxing the rentals that I got, just to prove that I could wax them and have them go faster than his demos.
At the risk of actually sounding like one of our videos, the last edible I had really wasn't shit. It was a Rice Krispies edible, and I was just like...
that sounds nice.
Yeah, it was nice. It tasted fine. But I was just sitting there waiting for things to happen. And the only thing that happened was, like, my eyes got warm. I likened it to, 2 sugar cubes being dropped in a cup of coffee.
How many milligrams was it?
Good question.
All right.
I don't know.
Because what effed me up was 15. That was 15 milligrams. That is not that much. So next time I do it, I'm gonna get right back on that horse. Give me 5, just 5 milligrams. Let's see where this goes. I know that's hardly anything, but let's do something where it's just gonna be a Fisher-Price big wheel. Nothing's gonna go wrong. Okay, we can handle this. Good. Then knock it up by 2. Well, let's find this threshold.
Yeah.
It's like drinking or anything else.
Yeah, I kind of want to just have an edible and watch Poppy videos on YouTube of just like weird android robot alien pop star lady. Super weird, but those videos are so hard to like break the spell from.
Well then,
yeah,
I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah, no, I would recommend not, just because they just stick with you in a really weird and discomforting way. Like, it's super uncomfortable, but I can't stop watching. But yeah, I don't know, ask us stuff, because we don't really have any new questions on Ask RCR. So we're just gonna take Low Life by Poppy is stupid catchy. I'll give her that.
Nick, talk for a minute. I gotta lay down so I can see the top of the ski so I can rub it right.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, well, just ask us stuff, but also, I don't know, I spent a lot of time, like, watching stuff this past week. The End of the Fucking World on Netflix is a good show. British show, teenager meets a girl. He always wanted to kill a person, so he decides, like, this is going to be the girl I'm going to kill. But then they go on a road trip together. It's just, I don't know, it's nice. Weird. What is my favorite Rush song? I mean, it's Tom Sawyer.
Subdivisions.
Right? I'm a Tom Sawyer man.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Yeah. Thoughts on Black Mirror? Yeah, I literally just finished season 4 last night, and it was great. I don't understand people saying that it's not up to par with previous seasons, because I thought it was like the overall number of episodes are. There's a higher number of quality episodes in this season than I feel since in past seasons. I don't know. It's just a great kind of look at how technology is kind of messing with us.
Guy in the chat says, what happened to your grandma's town car? Fan bought it. Didn't even know it was ours. Dad put it up, I think, for $2,000 or $3,000 for a 1994 Lincoln Town Car. Maybe it was a 93. Anyway, purple signature series. Bunch of stuff didn't work. Most of the electrical, like there was power, everything. DeMuro had a video up about an S, like a BMW 7 Series or something like that. Like, oh, it has three cigarette lighters. Lincoln has 4. Anyway, some fan bought it. It's up near, I think, a student who goes to Wilkes University. Of course, it's been 3 years now. He's probably graduated. I think this is as smooth as this baby's getting. I still see some wax lumps. Nope, I still see some more right between the brakes. All right, I think this is as good as this baby's getting. Schwang.
Ooh. It's yeah. Every time this Andrew White guy comments, I think it says Angela White, and my heart flutters a little bit. But yeah. What do you think of Fiat Chrysler possibly selling Jeep? I mean, that sounds about right for something they do.
That's their moneymaker. That brand is never going away.
Yeah.
It's too popular.
Yeah.
Should I wax the tops of my skis? Maybe I should.
I should just do them with car wax or something.
They do it next week. Have something else.
Yes.
Just
wax my boots for no reason.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah. What's going on now?
Alrighty.
What's the modern day equivalent of the CRX?
Maybe the Corolla S. Maybe the 6-speed, 5-speed. Maybe the Toyota Matrix with the 2ZZ engine in it. Thoughts on a Geo Metro convertible with the Geo Storm? That'd be a neat thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap this up. Thank you so much to everybody who supports us through Patreon. It's allowing us to travel the world now.
Yes.
RCR New Zealand in 3 weeks. I think it's the 24th we're leaving. It's on my calendar, which is over there.
Oh, it's the day after the Royal Rumble. So like the last Monday in January. It's like the 27th.
Okay.
Ish, if I remember correctly.
After RCR New Zealand, there's probably going to be RCR Austin. That's after ski season is over, so I can ski more. There's no new cars in my future. The MR2 was probably the last weird car. Of course, you say that, maybe I'll find something I like.
Yeah, you never know.
Motorcycle stuff this summer. Got to get back on more bikes. And again, thank you to Patreon. Thank you for people who buy in merch. There's still hats available. Plenty of keychains. Those will be up forever. And also shirts through Redbubble. Thank you so much. And I'm Brian.
I'm Nick.
That's it. And that's the podcast. Take care, guys.
Have a good week.